pretty much flat on the market. Nothing too fancy to write about. But let's see what actually happens. I'm just trying to see if you guys can hear me clearly. Okay. Everything seems pretty okay. Looks good. If there's anything, you guys can always just hop into the chat and let me know. Great. So we're looking good. Perfect. There you go. This kind of seems better. Maybe I could just stand up a little bit. Great. So let's just go through a few things. I'm just still looking at how the market closed for yesterday. The volatility index did pick up all the way up to 21. So that's something that you must keep in mind. Because you want to look for what's happening with volatility. That's going to be a deciding factor, especially when the treasury yield goes so much higher, right? So you want to keep a watch on that, see what's happening there, and then maybe try figuring out as to what seems like a better situation. How do you go in? What do you buy? What do you not buy? Okay. So we saw the Dow pretty much close 1 point lower, so that's not really too much to write about. So that's pretty looking like it's a dead day when it came to the Dow. The good part is that you had a fall in the market and then it steadied itself and it stayed where it is. It's not something that picked up. So remember that the Dow Jones in itself could have a fall that it did have the other day. It dropped a lot, like closer to 1.8% the other day. And then that 1.8% drop that's happened is now holding on to just a negative 1 point drop, which is literally a 0.00% move, right? So usually when you see these kind of falls, you should see a follow through on the downside. If you don't see a follow through on the downside, usually you'll start seeing these prices stay where they are. And if that starts happening, you're building a base for the next leg of the market to start shooting up. When you start seeing that happen, you could be moving towards all-time highs as well. You did see the Nasdaq for yesterday, it did close in the green, 32 points, right? Considering the fall that we had yesterday, even getting a 32-point drop or sorry, a 32-point increase, that's a big thing because you would see a follow through. So the futures market did see a fall yesterday, and that fall was really bought into, and the market did go up. Granted, let's also keep in mind that the futures at the moment is down another 42 points. So we must hold to the 21,000 level on the Nasdaq. That is of paramount importance. If you're able to hold that level, you're going to start seeing markets move higher. If you're not able to hold that kind of a level, you're going to start seeing follow through on the prices when they come up. Something that I did see yesterday was that high beta is one of the things that started picking up pretty much a lot yesterday. Some of the stocks that we saw were up 3%, 5%, 6% as well. So, like one of these insurance companies, tech insurance companies called Lemonade, right? That was up about 6.2%. Look at a company like Reddit, right? These are high beta companies, up about another 2.5, 2.6%. So that's something that I think everyone should keep in mind because this is not something which you're going to be continuously seeing on a daily basis. But sometimes when you see these kind of things, make profit out of it. Take some money out, right? You don't know when the next fall could happen. keep some money on the sidelines and buy in on those red days because you don't want to be selling on the red days because that's going to be a scenario where now you're worried saying, how is it that I'm going to recover the money? And you're not going to sell that. That's what ends up happening, guys. Okay, so let me try seeing if I can put out a poll. It's one of the things that I wanted to do for today. Let's see. That will help us in figuring out how much people did get interested in this kind of. Let me see if yeah, let's put in a bullish but confused because that's what the day seemed like. Let's also put in something else which is bearish and bitter because that's also what the day seemed like. So pretty much looking at all kinds of options. I can pull. Yeah, there you go. That's the poll right there. Let's put in a pinned comment also. So drop one stock you're watching now. I think that's a good one. Maybe we can do that. So maybe anyone that's got a particular stock involved. What do you think? Drop it in. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can help both each of us. Well, that's something that I would be highly interested in, especially knowing what the current market and what everyone's thinking about. Right? How does the market feel today for you guys? Anyway, so coming back to the main story, I did see stocks pretty much hold their ground. They're not really been flying too much. So maybe that's something to look over. It's You did see the dollar index now. That being said, let's have a look at how the dollar index closed now. I usually am a longer term investor, so I don't like sitting down and watching intraday movements. With a flat day. So, you've seen the dollar index go from 99 all the way to 101 or 100.1. You can see some tapering off, right? Remember, it's nothing too fascinating. Even everyone that's screaming about the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is lower now. The 10-year yield was supposed to be at 4.6 and we're already down 1.5%, and that's caused the market to recover. So if everyone's worried about something in the stock market, you shouldn't be worried about it. Remember that. Stop worrying about it. It's things that people are not worried about that causes the market to gyrate to lows or gyrate to new highs. Remember that. So don't worry about things that everybody's worrying about because that's already in the price set if everybody's already worrying about that. Okay, great. So we got one trading day left and we already got the Monday off, right? We got a I think, what do we have already on Monday? Let me check. Hmm, fascinating. What I remember was Monday is a holiday. I'm going to get a day off, just going to sleep, chill. Oh, yeah, we got Memorial Day. Fair enough. That's going to be fun. So I'm going to sit down and do some research on a few stocks. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Right. Yo, what's up, bro? How's it going? I love your username. Fabulous stuff, man. I wish I could get one of those. So. And the guys that I work with will kill me, but yeah, we'll give it a shit. How's it going? What part of the world are you in, brother? Nice to hear from you. I'll give my first comment, so I'm going to sit and talk to you for a few minutes before I get back to the stock market. Yeah, I'm in Southeast Asia at this moment, just to let you know. It's pretty cool, though. This is pretty much the office, so you can have a look at it. Let me see. Sorry, my bad. There you go. So my bet is I don't own any Bitcoin, but I'm pretty sure that Bitcoin is heading higher. That's my bet. So here's the thing. This is how markets do work. If you do see prices breaking all-time highs, they don't break it by 1 or 2% and then just stay there, right? Or come crashing down. They usually fly up from there. So when you break 110,000, which was the previous high, you're going to break that and go a lot higher, right? Let me give you a simple example. When I used to trade Bitcoin a long time back, it used to be somewhere around. Uh, you remember the previous highs? There was once a previous high, 2018 or 2019. I'm not really sure, but I was around 20,000, and then we dropped all the way down to 3,000, right? And everybody called the end of Bitcoin. When we broke the 20,000 again, we started heading up from there all the way up to 60,000, and then again we came back lower, right? And so when we broke that and started heading higher from there, 60,000 is now at 100, 110,000. Now we went back to 85,000 during the tariff issue, and 85,000 is now broken 100. My bet is we could see another 10, 15% on Bitcoin. Now, that's not something that's unfathomable, right? I mean, all of us would want to see 120,000 Bitcoin, but when you're going to be seeing that, you're going to see that head up higher. So, buddy, I think your battery is low. Yeah, okay, no worries. You can always just make sure to join in next time as well. It's fabulous talking to you. So make sure to subscribe as well so you'll get my updates every time. I try doing this about twice. So you can join in whenever you like. All right. Whenever you're free, just hop on. You can always mail me as well. I don't need these kind of situations to help anyone out or give my view. You can catch me up on Instagram or wherever. So it works. Whatever works for you works for me as well. I'm game. Hey, nice talking to you, buddy. Yeah, so that was a Bitcoin question. It's pretty cool though. I mean, all said and done. It is flying. It's not something that's just holding out there. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. Yeah. You got any more questions? Drop it in. I mean, I know your battery is low, but just in case you do, we can go over it. I literally have like an hour that I'm going to spend my time doing this. But good stuff, man. Yeah, most likely, I think I'm going to fly down to Australia as well. Uh, maybe take you guys along. You guys can see the place as well where I set out of what I do. It's a lot of fun. I mean, truth be told, there is still a lot of work. It's not so simple as people think it is. But let me just try seeing. I'm not sure if you guys can see an updated thumbnail. I remember putting in one, but anyways, not sure what's happening here. Okay, if you guys could comment and just letting me know. Can you hear me clearly though? Okay, fair enough. Let me try seeing this. I'm not sure if this going to help, but okay, that's weird. Uh, this let me just forward these two things because I had put this in, but I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it. Alright, so let's do this. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe give you guys a new thumbnail. Put in a description. That sounds fun. Uh, uh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, come on. That's the one that I like. There you go. So yeah, it's been pretty. I mean, it rained all night here, and then now it's bloody sunny. It's just different. Not sure how it pans out, but I think it's doing the same as what the markets are doing, right? We keep going up a little bit and then come down. That's what keeps happening. Nothing to complain about. Cool. There you go, guys. I think this kind of seems to start off. But I'm just trying to stuff this thing up. So it's not something that I want. Yeah, cool. Every time seeing it, we're able to get this in a bit better. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the 10-year yield had it's a pretty good day. I mean, 4.5. I think if we can start going back to 4.3, 4.4 or lower, that's going to take the market a lot higher, lot higher. But remember, guys, you got to maintain that 21,000 level. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, even if you maintain a 20,300, it's a lot. Just make sure that we're maintaining that because I think we can come back down to like 20,300 to retest some amount of a low, make a new low, and then flip up all the way up. Right. That's something that quite possible in this grand scheme of things. You could see an intermediary pullback in the market. You could have some nonsensical news that comes out and just said lower and then go to this. But yeah, so maybe let's go over the news. Let's see what's happening in this world. Yeah, I was looking out for this. Japan's consumer prices have now picked up 3.5%. They were estimated at 3.4. Uh, cool. So this seems good. This is another company that I was looking at. It's called Box. I know they're doing a lot of stuff when it comes to AI. It's pretty fascinating. It's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. I might go in and buy a few thousand. I mean, maybe like $20,000 into Box. I have a feeling they could do really well. Not sure again, guys. This is all a bet that I make. I mean, these are bets that I make. So don't follow me. None of this is financial advice. I'm just trying to give you a guide into what I do, how I think. Okay. And Box is something that I'm looking at. I like the guy that runs it, Aaron Levy. Right. So what he says is Box is now integrated in ChatGPT for doing deep research on your enterprise content. This is going to be amazing for working through large sets of unstructured data. The future of AI is interoperability between systems. And I completely agree with that. The question is, can you have more competitors to Box that are doing what Box is doing? Right. So that's the question. That's the $1 million question. That's how you make money is when you go in and buy something that you believe others don't believe in. That's important. UBS raises year-end S&P 500 price target to 6,000, initiates June 2026 target of 6,400. Okay. Huh. Hmm. Oh, this is beautiful. So the Supreme Court comes out and says that the Fed is different. Supreme Court grants Trump's request to fire without cause the heads of independent government agencies, but does not implicate the Fed, which means the Federal Reserve chair stays where he is. And if that's happening, granting Trump, this stay is extraordinary given that it is effectively allowing the to overrule Congress flat pending. So basically, in the grand scheme of things, they can fire everybody. Uh, that is a fascinating question, buddy. But I think I might let my knee grow, So I had an accident few years back and I broke my ACL. I think I'll choose the knee to grow, in all honesty. That tree fucking growing is gonna take too long for me to sit there and watch. Right. And I'm in market, so I mean for me, waiting is not the game that I like playing, but yeah, maybe the Negro. I know what that question is, so but I still take the Negro. I mean, I got like PTSD when it comes to my knees. So yeah, thanks for the comment though. That's fascinating. So, what would you watch though? Would you watch a tree grow or a Negro? Right? You tell me. Yeah, yeah. You see, my ACL was the issue here. So, I'll watch that. But yeah, That's fascinating. Now that I think about it. Nice one there, buddy. Hey guys. So, bye. What part of the world are you from? Where are you in? You don't need to give me a city or a country. You can just tell me the goddamn continent. Who cares about the city, anyways? There you go. That's my man. You don't stop at a beer, my friend. It's drinking beers now. You gotta stop. You gotta have more. I love that. And nothing like sitting down with the boys. That's fun too. Yeah. Maybe you guys should come down to like Southeast Asia. Drop me a message. Maybe when you're in Thailand or something like that, that'll be fun. That's a place, man. Yeah. Anytime you have like a market question or something, drop in as well. Put in the chat once your beers are over. Make sure to like subscribe so then you get to know when I come live next time. We can have a longer conversation. Enjoy your time with your boys, my friend. Fabulous talking to you. Yeah, so let's get back. Let's try seeing what's going on in the market. Goodness gracious. This is pretty much what that name Heisenberg Khan. Yeah. So, buddy, what we're trying to do here is just go through what happened with the markets. Let's see what's currently going on. Maybe give me your view as well. Maybe we can talk about it. Everything, I mean, everything from what you believe is coming in. Would you believe whether the market's going to go lower or come in higher? And then maybe from there we can take it forward and maybe just see a few things, right? I mean, one of the things that I did see was this is fascinating though. The OnlyFans owner is taking or selling his platform for 8 billion valuation. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a pretty sticky business, right? I mean, you could keep getting in markets altogether. So the specific market that you're talking about is the US equity market. That's what we focus on. The US equity fixed income market. That's what we focus on. But yeah, the OnlyFans owner seems to be. I mean, I know they can't IPO. I was pretty sure. I'm not sure if they could IPO. I mean, that might be something that's not going to happen. But yeah. Oh, yeah. The New York Stock Exchange. Yeah. We could do that. Let me know if you want to talk about some stocks. What's on your mind? What do you think the market's going to do? Right. Everyone's been crying about the 10-year yield. I want to know what people think about it because I think it's a nothing burger eventually. Till the time we don't cross, I mean, we were at. Here's something that I don't think people think about is exactly 4 to 5 months back, somewhere around December 31st itself, the 10-year rate was the same as the rate that's there today. So it's not really rocket science to know that the 10 years there itself. Obviously, the market side gyrations up, down, all of that's happened, right? I get that. But if everybody is screaming about it, we shouldn't be worrying about it. That's something that I've been doing this for about 15, 16 years now. And I've realized that if everyone worries about it, you and I shouldn't be worrying about it. You and I should look through it and pretty much go ahead and invest, right? It's doing the opposite that makes you money. It's not the same kind of thing that you keep repeating again and again that's gonna win. I know I'll kind of sound like a broken record when I keep saying this, but again, just don't worry about things that the market's already worried about. It's not how you make money. Right? I'm pretty sure you agree with me, right? Yeah. Make sure to like come come into the next live sessions as well. That'll be fun though. You can just subscribe to the channel. I usually put out like a live every day or two. And what I do is then I come twice live, and then I could come in and be like, whenever you guys have like a stock or something that you want to talk about, it's simpler. I'm sorry about that, buddy. But maybe you can join in. I mean, if you're already on YouTube, you can just subscribe and it's this thing. It costs nothing. And then, hi, Sharik, how's it going, bro? And then you could just come in and uh, get all of the information free. I mean, we don't charge anything. We're not interested in charging anything, any which was. We're doing this for fun. So that's good. Anyway, so what I was saying was Box is a company that I'm actually looking at because Box as a company is currently integrating with ChatGPT. And the fact that they're integrating with ChatGPT and using unstructured data and structurizing a process around it, which is basically like, even if you look at each of our laptops, we have so much of PDF, so much of these Word documents, so much of Excel documents, so much of numbers documents lying around doing absolutely zilch. It's just there everywhere and absolutely nowhere. The thing is, if you can put all of that together through AI and find a flow chart. Now, imagine this is just for me. Imagine a situation when you're doing it for umpteen number of companies. Now, for companies that have data, payroll data, taxes, God only knows how much amount of data these guys have. Right? That's just lying here, there, and everywhere in different files. You can put all of that together into one place. That's something that can grow massively. So think about that for a minute. That's how it can go. And thanks for the subscribe, brother. But yeah, so that's something that can pretty much keep going up and up. Because remember, as time passes, you're going to be getting more and more amount of these unstructured data into structured data. Now imagine if this is being done against companies, it's eventually going to start getting done into smaller things, right? I heard BlackRock investing in Pakistan. Is this a real thing? I am not really sure, brother. I'm not really sure. But remember, BlackRock's got the wings that BlackRock has is so large that, and the economy of Pakistan is so small that it wouldn't take too much for them to invest, right? 10 billion, 20 billion is pocket change for these guys. They have more money than a lot of us could imagine and more power, right? So all power to them. I hope every country in this world does well. But yeah, that being said, I'm not really sure about that, June, so I don't want to tell you that I know about it. But that's not something I kind of look into. I'm more into the American stock market, so I stick my neck out there. And I have pretty firm views about the market out there. So, and I like to be proven wrong, but until I'm not, I'm pretty good at what I do. So, US equity is my place, my friends. Great. So, one of the companies that I was also looking at was, so we went over Box, was Autodesk. The revenues picked up, the adjusted EPS picked up, the guidance has improved. Let's kind of look at what's happened in post market to the stock. Yeah, the stock's up 3.5% post market, right? So Autodesk is pretty much a company that designers use, graphic designers, interior designers. A lot of them use Autodesks. So these kind of things are pretty. I mean, if people are spending on home improvements, office renovations, home renovations, homes in general, in designing, it's because they're not buying new homes, maybe, but they're also spending on the same thing again and again, right? So that's something to keep in mind because eventually you are going to get into a scenario where more and more people do get interested into the things that you're doing. So keep in mind, right? It's not rocket science when it comes to the fact that a lot of companies are coming out with great earnings. Right. Here's a fun fact, and this is something I'll talk about on a long form video over the weekend. But the S&P 500 earnings is pretty much at growing at the rate that it was growing at, close to what it was during the pandemic. So imagine during the pandemic, you had the best years for companies because they were just flush with cash and flush with money. You're getting pretty much the same thing with all of this bad news around it. So just think twice when everyone on the headlines just comes out and keeps saying that, hey, is it is it going to be that bad out there? Is it really that bad? I mean, if everyone's screaming about a recession, don't really worry about it at the moment unless you actually start feeling it by yourselves, which a lot of the consumer is not, right? Am I a stockbroker? No, I'm not. So I run a family office. It's just my money and a couple of my friends, and we've put money together, and we don't take outside money. So I gain nothing from any of this, right? Other than the fact that we're technically giving out all most of our information out uh, for free as well. And it does take up a lot of our time to do it, but you know what? It's now or never. We were always thinking about doing this till someone came in and told us, what, you guys should do this, just give out whatever you can as much as you can. So let's see. We're trying to grow this channel, maybe get to like 100 subscribers, then get to 200, get to 5,000, 10,000, a million, 10 million. Who knows? But we're not stopping. That's for sure. We don't give up. However bad things get, we don't give up. Yeah. We came from nothing also. So we pretty much lived on less than dollars, single dollars. So that being said, we're not giving up. So we're not stockbrokers or any of that. We're not trying to make money off anyone. We're trying to just give out whatever we have learned in the markets over the last 16 years and tell you guys that everything shit's not hitting the fan. So don't worry so much about it. Yeah, that's what we do. We run our own money, we run our own book, we talk our own book. Keep that in mind as well. But we'll always tell you when we're financially invested in something and we talk about it, like the video that we came up with a few days back. That was a firm, right? And that's is something that we are financially invested in. So we made sure that, it's all of that, but it's more of education. I mean, we're just trying to give a perspective that most people don't currently have or are not looking into. It's just that's the signal and sentiment, right? We're trying to look into some things that everyone's not looked into, and that's how it is, right? Okay, let me get this question. I don't get this. Like, how can one make money by just change of ratio, like most stable stocks, which is your money, but can change a lot? I mean, margin ain't that big, right? How can a very low end? Yeah, that's true. And what you're saying is absolutely right because what a lot of people believe in is short stocks, defensive stocks. They tend to do well and growth. You know what, buddy? Here's the story. Not taking risks is not getting return. Let me be serious about it. Doesn't mean you need to go and buy some scammy coin in crypto, or you got to go and buy the toughest situation. You don't have to go and buy something that is a penny stock expecting it to be the next $1 billion play. Look for companies that you use and buy those companies, right? Here's a simple example that I tell most people. Everyone watches Netflix. Everyone watches Disney. Everyone pretty much is out there listening to music on Spotify, right? Buy these stocks. Don't go in and buy something that your uncle told you or you overheard on the train or in the bus or something like that, right? Don't waste your time on all of those kind of nonsensical things. Look for companies that you buy. If you use an iPhone, go buy an Apple iPhone, right? Past 10, 12 years, you've still made 25%, 20% on Apple, right? You don't need to go and double up your money every year. If you aim to go and double up your money every year, you are going to lose your money. And if you really do want to play that game, maybe play with 10% of your money. You don't need to go in and, buy out 100% of your portfolio into some stock that you overheard on the bus that could be sitting on the next drug that could make you a lot of money, right? So that's something that you should keep in mind. But yeah, avoidance of risk is also avoidance of return. Remember that. That's something that I follow as well. Let's go to the next one. Thanks for being the subscriber, my friend. Thank you so much. All the best to you too. Derek says, what's your opinion and possible outlook on the rising treasury yields? Yeah, so my bet is, and this is something that I said in the start of the call as well, that if everyone's worried about rising treasury yields, don't be worried about it. Then again, let's just get to the fundamentals of it. Somewhere around December 31st of 2024, which is last year end, you were looking at the treasury yield being the same as what it is today, right? So if I told you that all the tariff noise is taken away, everything's taken away, and let's just talk about a situation where you're pretty much in December 31st, you had euphoria, right? Everyone was like, oh my God, everything's going to be so great with Trump. Fast forward another 4 months, everyone's scared of what might happen with Trump, right? As of today. But the treasury yield has stayed where it is. Let's do something, right? Let me tell you this story and think of it this way. The US Treasury yield is the only Treasury yield in the international markets that has been the same level if I take it from December end to today. The Japanese yield is at its highest. The German yields are higher. The Any of the other European countries, they're higher. Australian yields are high. So how is it that you're looking at a situation where when American treasury yields are causing the markets to fall, while these other treasury yields globally are also rising way more than the American treasury yields, but they're causing the stock market to go higher in America. So that's the signal that we're trying to give that don't worry about these treasury yields. Again, if the treasury yield starts breaking 5%, right, you are going to start seeing stock markets go back to its previous lows or start heading lower. But let me tell you, before that happens, remember the treasury secretary, Scott Bessent, he came out and said that their aim is not in a higher stock market. Their aim is in the 10-year treasury yield heading lower. If their aim is in the 10-year treasury yield heading lower, they're not going to sit there and watch while the treasury yield keeps going to 5%, 5.5%, 5.2%. They're going to act. These guys have a lot of resources. They have a lot of money. They are the world's most powerful currency. Yesterday, here's the situation. Let me tell you this, Sharik, right? Think of it this way. Yesterday, the market collapsed on a softer 20-year treasury yield, right? So the demand on the 20-year treasury yield had dropped. Usually that is the case because the 10-year, 20-year treasury yield is not as strong as the 30-year or the 10-year. Fast forward today, when the markets closed, you had a 10-year treasury yield and a 30-year treasury yield auction. They had very healthy demand, which is when that demand was seen, the market started moving up and the 10-year treasury yield came lower. My bet, my bet is 2 weeks from now, we're not going to be talking about the treasury yield. Unless the treasury yield is about 4.75 or 5%. We're not going to be wasting our time talking about the treasury yield. There's going to be a lot more things going on, right? I believe next week, again, you're going to get into NVIDIA earnings and all of these things. And once that happens, you're not going to sit down and worry about, oh, is the treasury yield heading higher? Is it heading lower? What's happening? It's today's news. It wasn't 2 weeks back news, right? The administration is not going to just sit down and take it lying down that, oh my God, the treasury yield is now heading to 5. Let's look. They're going to act before that. That's their plan. They're not going to just sit and wander about trying to figure out things, right? I mean, I hope you answered the question. Okay, the next one, what's the process from outside US to invest or in any stock exchange? I would say I'm not really sure. It depends on what domiciled country you're from. You could look at something like an interactive brokers. They are, I mean, we're not affiliated with them. You could go through whoever you want to, but I would suggest go through like maybe an interactive brokers. I think they're the most broad spectrum of countries. So I'm pretty sure your country might be based out of there as well. So you can then look into that, maybe open an account and then wire your money to America to invest. We use interactive. We use a lot many other brokers as well. So it's not something that that's not the only thing that we're looking at, but that's also something that I suggest to most people because I think they're in over more than 150 countries, right? IBK. Let me just do this for you guys. So let me just I could be clear about this. Uh, yeah. So I mean, you know what? They're there in islands, so I'm pretty sure they're there everywhere. So let's just do this number of countries that IBKR supports. Yeah, over 200 countries. Now I'm guessing you're out of one of those 200 countries. Right till the time you have internet and you're in one of those 200 countries, you're good to go. So give it a shot, maybe, not that bad. And it's a pretty simple platform. Like you can trade on your phone, you can invest through your laptop, all of that. Anyways, so I hope that answers your question as well. Thanks, Sharik. Thank you so much. Uh, let's go and let's see what's happening next. Okay, let me just drop in and ask you guys, can you hear me clearly? And is the video completely clear? Because I sound great for myself though, but that's separate. Can you see everything around and everything's great? Just drop in with like a thumbs up and that's cool. Yeah, thank you. Apple plans to launch smart glasses by late 2026. Fascinating. I mean, I'm guessing maybe now it's all said and done. Apple's doing that to go against Meta's Ray-Ban glasses, right? I'm just not sure how many of us would choose glasses as an alternative, right? At some point of time, humans would be like, you know what, we have a mobile device in our pockets. We have a laptop in our bag. Now we need another screen altogether on our eyes as well. I'm not sure how many people are going to go down that road, right? But guess here's something that I've realized. If multi-billionaires don't take these kind of risks, you and I are not going to get the innovation that we do get. So all power to these guys to be able to keep doing what they're doing, right? Let me see. So the Nasdaq yesterday closed 0.15. I think we had a pretty bad drop down towards the end of the day. We dropped about 0.68% in the last hour of trading. That's okay. That's nothing too much to worry about. So yeah, as of this moment, I'm looking at box. I'm looking at something different. Uh, what about pharma? In all honesty, I stay away from it. The only company that I do wonder about when it comes to pharma is, I mean, I stay away from all the biotechs. I don't get into those. I don't. I don't spend my time looking into any of the biotech companies. What I do spend my time is in two companies: Eli Lilly, which I believe is the Apple of pharma. They're just so vastly available, and it's something that you're going to need all throughout your life. So when it comes to the like when you were telling me, right, Heisenberg, that what are those short stocks that I look at? Something like Eli Lilly comes to my mind because it's something that will be there 5 to 10 years from now. AI is not going to cure you from fever, a cold, cough, any influenza at this given moment. You still need medicine, right? Biotechs I stay away from. That is something that I stay away from when it comes to that. Pharmaceutical, one company, Eli Lilly, second one, Novo Nordisk. These two companies, I believe, take the cake for me purely because what I believe is eventually more and more people are going to start using weight loss drugs. And the repetitive use of that is going to get these guys to make more and more money. So they have a first mover advantage. They have tested products that are going to come out. Eventually, it will spread out everywhere. And then these guys are going to make bang for the buck because that's what's going to happen. So that's my story on pharma, pretty much. Let me see what's the next one. Yeah, Bitcoin at all-time high. That was one of the things that I was actually talking about when we saw the fall yesterday on yesterday's live. Uh, what you're saying is absolutely right, Sherek. But think of it this way, right? Every time you do see a market go higher, a particular segment of the entire global market, like when you see crypto go higher, but equity markets lower, remember one thing, you don't see recessions or you don't see bad news or bad economies when there are some markets globally that are doing well. So everyone was screaming about this when we were at about, let me actually spend a few minutes and talk about this. About 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, when the market was just moving higher, what you saw was everyone within the around the world screaming of a US recession, American exceptionalism ending, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys heard of it as well. But here's what happened. I sat down and I thought about this, and I have not seen a recession in my life in just a single country going on while everyone else around them flourishes. It is too much for me to believe that America is the only country that goes through a recession and no one else gets affected by it. Hence, the American market starts heading lower, while at the same time, German markets are hitting new highs, Japanese markets are hitting new highs, emerging markets are heading higher, and America is stalling. You don't see recessions happen. You can have a momentary pause on the American stock market from heading higher. Let's be honest, for the past in 2023, 2024, you had more than 20% returns in the American stock market, and you were not able to see that in any other markets. So let's be clear about that. They were doing exceedingly well, and they continue to do exceedingly well. There is no AI exceptionalism like American exceptionalism. That's what I keep saying, right? So when Bitcoin, like you're saying, hit an all-time high, I started realizing that maybe the market will also eventually hit an all-time high. And that's my bet. This year, I do believe we will be 5 to 10% above the previous all-time high. So we're going to break above that all-time high and go higher. Just like you're saying about Bitcoin, right? I think it's going to go all the way up to maybe 115, 120, or even higher. You don't break the previous high and stay there. You break that previous high and you rocket out of it because everyone that's been looking at this all-time high is now like, oh, this is going to go up, so I'm going to buy in. And then there's the fear of missing out and everything else that comes up, right? But just be cautious. You never want to buy all time highs with the anticipation that you're the only one that knows the story. The fact that you're at all time highs means most people know about it. So just remember that, right? Let me get to the next one. I hope I answered you, Sharif, on that. Eisenberg says, do you consider crypto a mumbo jumbo or blockchain is a serious thing? Uh, Let me keep this short because I don't want to go into this crypto story a lot, but I wouldn't go and put my personal money into anything other than the top five cryptocurrencies. I don't own a single dollar in crypto because I have so much of equity that I really like, and I could just keep going and buying these companies out. I don't spend my time on crypto that much. That's one. So I don't go below the top five even looking at them. Second is blockchain is already proven to be a serious thing. So there's no discussions left about it, right? It is a phenomenal technology, fabulous. It will be used, it will continue to be used. A lot of people will use it. It might even come into our personal lives. Is blockchain, the use of blockchain equal to higher prices in crypto? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Blockchain as a technology is open source. So you and I can use it. We don't need to own a particular crypto form. So that's not something that I personally look at. So I don't go below the fives, the top fives, in even looking at them. I don't even want to go down those roads. I don't want to figure out whether these guys. So here's the story. I don't want to buy something where I'm hoping that the guys don't come out to scam me. I want to go out and buy some a company or something where I'm like, I can see people use those products, right? I want to be able to go and find something where I'm like, I can see people using Spotify. I can see people going to Disneyland. I can see people watching Netflix. I can see people. Here's my story. Why is Netflix such a great company and still at all time highs? Because I know even in a recession, when you lose your job, you're going to go home or you're already home and you're going to watch Netflix. So there's only so much that you can do, right? So you're not going to give up your Spotify subscription and stop listening to music even if you enter a recession. So those are few things that I look at. So I stay away from crypto largely. I mostly spend my time trying to look into these kind of things where I'm spending most of my time on equity markets. And then here's the story. You don't need to go to every party in the city to have fun, right? So sometimes maybe just figure out what is your kind of a party and just go there. You don't need to keep hopping into places because you might just end up not being anywhere, but also everywhere at the same time. And that's not worth it, right? Uh, Buddy, that's the problem. Never try figuring out who's scamming you and who's not. If you're even questioning that fact, don't do it. Invest in things that you believe are not scams, which are either physically you can see them or you can view that others are using them, right? If you're going to ever ask a question on an investment saying, can these guys scam me? You're already going down the road of trying to believe that maybe, you can get scammed. So don't waste your time on all of that. There's more to life than forcing yourself to try get not being in a scam and hoping that that's the next company that gives you 10, 20, or 30 baggers. Not worth the risk, brother. Don't waste your time on that. Anyways, let's just go back to some of these news items. You guys have anything, just drop in the comments. So I can just comment at any time. Hmm. Let me see. Harvard University blocks authorities from revoking international investors. Anyways, who cares? Bitcoin hits a new all-time high at 112,000. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about right now. Tinder CEO steps down. Great. So Bill Ackman's decided to take a position in Amazon, noting that Andy Jassy is doing an incredible job. That is absolutely true. And that's true. So a firm has announced the expansion of a partnership with Kayak into Canada, giving approved travelers the ability to book. So I'm guessing Affirm is not just making people buy burritos in Pay in 4. Now you can even buy now, pay later your trips on Kayak. So that's good. Let's just go through any other news that was important. White House discuss potential deal with Iran. Okay. Nobody really cares. Okay. Let's be honest. No one gives a damn. In capitalism, what we care about is two countries that have trade with each other, and are they making the trade deal or not? So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens with Nike, because that's something that I'm looking at. Because if there is a US Vietnam deal that does happen, these companies are going to start doing well. One, Nike is now under the new administration of Elliot Hill, who is a seasoned Nike executive. He worked all the way from an intern all the way to working on the Jordan brand. So he's been doing phenomenally well there. As time passed, he's also been able to, he left the company and now they brought him back because Nike does need a change, right? Uh, so that's something that I'm looking at now. They're beginning to sell on Amazon as well, so which is great. Also, along with that, they're increasing prices. So these are things that tick the box for me. And usually, when a stock is down from like 170, $160 per share to $60 per share, that kind of makes me interested as well. So that's something that I'm pretty much currently going to be studying over the weekend. I mean, we have a holiday on Monday. So maybe like if you guys subscribe and then join in for every live, you guys can just type in your tickers and I can speak about those. And then sometimes I'll speak about things that I'm looking at. And then we can figure that out. Maybe I think my next video that I was thinking of making was either Reddit, but I'm thinking maybe if I'm going to be studying Nike, maybe make a video on Nike. All right. Maybe. Why just wear the shoes? Make the video as well. Anyways, what's the next one? Last question. Apologies for so many questions. Relax, brother. It's all cool. All well. What financial concepts and data analysis techniques one needs to start with? I would say, so let keep it broadly simple. Look for companies that are growing their sales. Look for companies that have high operating margins, which is basically a company that's able to sell lemonade for $100 and it costs them $5 to make it. So they keep $95. Remember, a company never goes bankrupt if they have cash and less debt, right? You cannot go bankrupt if you don't have a loan. Plain and simple. Do the same with companies. Figure out companies that are flush with cash or make a lot of cash, right? Even if you're able to put that money back into the company, that's cool. That being said, data analysis techniques, I don't really spend too much time on that. I look for sticky companies people are not ready to let go of. You don't really need 10, 15 companies in your life to do well. You need a few, right? You could have $1,000 invested. You need one company to give you 100 times return. Really tough. But let's say even if you invest $100,000 in 10 companies, right? 1,000 each in 10 companies, that's 10,000 US. One of them goes up 10 times, you make your money back, right? So trust me. It's all cool. Don't spend too much time. Look for companies that grow their sales. Look for companies that make money on that sales. Look for companies that are sticky to users, and you can then pretty much grow about that way. Data available open source. Yeah, you can just go to the companies and select the investor relations, and you'll get, I don't know, maybe about 7 years, 8 years of data that the company has. And that's good. Consider me a caveman. Brother, we're all cavemans in the market. Don't worry about it. It's all cool. Keep shooting whatever questions you have. It's all fun and games out here. It's all cool. No rush at all. Let me actually show you guys the place. So just maybe if you guys can see. That's my pretty much my place where I work. I'm pretty much earlier than everyone. So let me know if you guys like it though. Yeah, let's get back to this week. Yeah, the company's data is available open source. You can get all of it. You don't really need too much to go around. You're good, brother. The fact that you're questioning all of this is pretty cool. So the fact that you're questioning these kind of things means you're on the right path. Keep at it. You're good to go, bro. And don't get out of the cave, man. The cave is all we have. Thanks, Eric. Ray Dalio says we should be afraid of the bond market. Yeah, I mean, he's been calling the end of the world for the past I don't know how many years, but yeah, he is the world's largest hedge fund manager. So not taking that away from him, but it's been since I was a kid, he's been saying we're entering the dooms of the world. So let be that as it may. Trump will attend the G7 meeting in Canada. Great. That's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on the June 15th, 17th, when Trump meets them, they're going to come up with some deal. I mean, I don't really think these tariffs are going to stay anymore. It's going to be something that's not going to be the way it is. It's just going to get better. Okay, guys. Don't hold me to it. Don't find me and kill me eventually if you don't make money. Just my view, right? I say, I talk my book and I'm proud of that fact. I don't really care about what people think, whether I'm being biased to a particular political individual or what. I don't care who's in power. I don't care who is running the show wherever. Plain and simple way here to make money, right? Yeah, the art of the deal, right? With this funny concept, right? He goes into a room, looks in the mirror, looks at himself, negotiates with himself, screams at himself, comes out of the room, makes a press conference saying, "We had a great meeting," right? So I don't know if the art of the deal is just negotiating with himself, but if this is actually the art of the deal and America can get a great win out of this, let's be honest, the guy fooled the world but got the best out of it. So he is maybe the best negotiator in the world per se, right? I give him one thing. One, he sticks to what he says. And two, the markets are back to closer to all-time highs. And he still has tariffs on countries and is making billions on it. So he ain't dumb. I can tell you that much, right? And he's tasted blood of a bullish stock market. So that's not going anywhere. I think this live is pretty interesting. So let's keep it going. I think we can go on for a bit longer. Usually I do an hour, but this one's fun. So let's keep going. And I have no problem to keep going. So if you guys are game, I'm game. Anthropic just rolled out its newest model. Oh yeah, let me get for you. Somebody's got to pay for the war. Yeah, somebody's got to. I don't know who's paying for it, but somebody has to. And it's not him for sure. Most likely it's him, but it's through someone else. But yeah, that's true. Let me see. I'm trying to switch careers, becoming a data analyst, invest in the future with it as a tool in my sleeves. At the moment, I don't have much to invest. It was lovely to interact. It was fortunate for me. It was by far maybe one of the best conversations I've had with you, brother. Make sure to join the next live sessions. That'll be fun. Oh, wish you all the luck, man. I'm already thinking best things for you. So there's nothing for me to. There's no way I'm going to be thinking bad for anyone. I don't gain anything out of thinking bad for anyone. So, and no one should, right? We're all cool here. It's nice to see you guys also on the live. So I'm going to try doing this on a daily basis. I don't know how the weekends will shape up, but you know what? We'll give it a shot. We'll see. Okay. Scott Besson is going to be speaking tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. So he's a bullish guy. Remember that, right? He's someone that I know is bullish, and he's going to be talking about the 10-year yields, and he's going to bring it down and talk about all that. So I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling he is going to speak positively, and the market could be higher tomorrow. Again, this is all of my views. I'm not an intraday trader. Neither do I trade by the hour. For a matter of fact, I hardly look at the markets even when they're open unless I need to make some trades. So it's not something that I spend too much of my time on. But yeah, that being said, that's great. Make sure to share the YouTube channel with all of the guys that you think it can help out. I don't really do any kind of ads or any of that. I'm just trying to do this organically, so it'll help me as much as it could. If you guys can share it with people, that will be great. I mean, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, so it's just something that I'm trying to do. It's just fun for me, so I like the game of numbers and analytics and all that. So let's try getting to 100. That's going to be fun, right? Basically, the concept in my head is that the higher the numbers get in terms of subscribers, the more I'm going to put myself out there, right? The more I'm going to come out for these lives. And trust me, I have zero interest in trying to put ads in videos or any of that. It's like that's pocket change. So that's not even my goal here, right? We get to 100, then we get to 150, we get to 200, we get to 5,000, we get to a million, whatever it is. The aim's going to be to try keeping these lives, try keeping these videos, try keeping these stocks out there. We don't need all these members first and all these other super badges and all. Guys, we're here to make money. Plain and simple. I'm going to be making money in the stock market. If I can help you at least think of things the way I think of it, we're good, right? And the more subscribers we get, the larger the audience gets. So this is more questions, more time, and I can have more fun with you guys. Because I would choose nothing over sitting down and having a chat with everyone, right? Plus, I don't shut up, so that's another thing, and it works. Thank you so much. I love. Thank you. Hmm. Let's see what else is happening. Trump and he have not spoken since Geneva agreement. Yeah, they don't need to talk every day. They're not dating. It's okay. Relax, guys. So chill. DOJ is scrutinizing structure of Google deal with character.ai. Okay, whatever the hell that means. I don't care. Yeah, but this is going to be fun though. The effect that's going to be on Google because of artificial intelligence. That's going to be something that's going to be worth looking into. All right. That's that's maybe a long form video that I might do. Maybe put it out, put in my thoughts on what I believe is going to happen with artificial intelligence. I was actually having a discussion yesterday with a friend of mine, Tom, one of the most fabulous guys I've ever met. And maybe one day I'll bring him on as well. You guys can join in. Fabulous guy into marketing, great guy. And I was actually talking to him and I was giving him my thesis on why I believe Google's not dead. While I also do believe that, companies like Reddit and all of these, they're going to be there for longer than people imagine. And these guys could be great investments for the long term. And he was giving me his story of why he believes that maybe, Google could not do that well. It was a great conversation. Absolutely loved it. Let's get to a few of these questions. Do you manage your day as a trader or investor, and what do you invest most of your day into? Uh, I am not a trader at all. Like I don't have positions that I sell even within the same year. So they mostly go on for. Oh, I need to set my legs up first. Hold on. Yeah. So I don't really trade. I mostly invest. I don't sell my positions in less than 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. What do I spend most of my day? I go to the gym at about 4, 5 times in a week. So that's that. Rest of the time I'm reading. I spend most of my day in reading. If it's not a book, it's something on the internet. I finish most of my videos. I like seeing both sides of the story, the bullish and the bearish side of the market. My aim is to breathe all information into me so that my mind can work in a way where I can cross analyze all of this data and then figure out what is signal, what is noise, what the sentiment currently is, whether it's bullish or bearish, and how things play out. Because I mean, that's what we get paid for. That's how we make our money. Is figuring out. It's not the aim of being contrarian. It's the aim of figuring out: is there a logic in being bearish, and is there a logic in being bullish, and how does that work? Right. Just try seeing if I should get this camera a bit lower. Yeah, this kind of seems like. Yeah. Let me get to the next one. So that's my most of my day, and then maybe go to the beach, chill for a bit. But yeah, what is this LLM game? Is this competition a way to make out of it like OpenAI, Google's IO Gemini stuff? Yeah, could be, man. What I saw with Google's IO was they're not backing down. They're gonna fight till the end. And I'm not saying OpenAI would kill them. Like, let's be honest, right? For a person like me, I still use a lot of ChatGPT compared to Google, but I still use YouTube. I still use Waymo. I still use Google Cloud. I'm still going to use Gmail. That being said, Google's vast majority of its money does come from search. At the moment, Google's AI Gemini is the best out there. No one's able to beat it. Let's be honest. ChatGPT just has more users because they have a banging through the door, being the first mover advantage. But let's see. I mean, I wouldn't write Google off, right? At some stage, I might even be a buyer in Google stock if it really can just keep flying. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what exactly happens with Google. So I wouldn't write them off. Let me just say that. Right. It's not something that I would be like, maybe these guys. It's something that I would keep in mind, knowing the fact that Google is going to be there. Google does have the power to continue investing in themselves, making their things better. And who knows, right? What are we all here for? A better design, a better AI interface, and getting our answers closer and faster, right? So uh, that's what I believe in the Google versus OpenAI story. I don't really think it's a Google versus OpenAI story as much as people think it is. I think it's more people now getting into search, right? I think the base is going to get larger. For a lot of people, people were using search, but I do believe now search is going to get larger. So the pie is going to get bigger. And if the pie is going to get bigger, you might see some market share loss. But if that turns into dollar increments, I don't think that's that bad of a scenario. So you can have the stock come low, but you don't necessarily need the company to go bankrupt, right? I mean, Netflix maybe has the largest market share ex YouTube when it comes to streaming. But that doesn't mean I don't go to Apple TV and watch shows. That doesn't mean I don't go to Disney and watch shows. That doesn't mean I don't watch movies on Hulu, Paramount, any of them. So it's okay. You don't need to be the only winner. I can have a story around it where I believe Google will survive and thrive, and they will find their ways, right? Who knows? I mean, I'm not ready to bet on the fact that Google's dead. That's my view. Let me get to the next one. So your analysis is more of a holistic about the company's complete line of products. That means one specific product can't completely change the fortune. Exactly my point, right? OpenAI merging with John Ivy's company and John Ivy now taking over and creating, let's say, a great product that a lot of people use, that can be a threat, right? But that's my word, can be. I'm not sure about the fact that you should look, and I look at it from a capital markets perspective, right? So when I look at it, I'm looking at it from a standpoint where I'm like, Google's got all these different things. They own 10% of, I think they own, let me just get this right? Google Starlink investment. I'm pretty sure in 2015, Google joined Fidelity Investments in a $1 billion investment, contributing to a combined stake of approximately 10% in SpaceX. Furthermore, Google Cloud has a deal with SpaceX to provide computing and network resources for Starlink's internet connectivity. Here's my story, guys. Google owns 10% of SpaceX. SpaceX owns Starlink. If we're going to begin using Starlink globally, if we're going to be using SpaceX for sending people to Mars or for whatever the hell they want to do there, I'm not going there. But anyways, Google has a lot of tentacles. They're like an octopus. They have a lot of tentacles going everywhere. There's so much money involved in that company, right? Driverless taxis, they're leading. YouTube, they're leading, right? SpaceX, they own a share. Starlink, they own a share. Google Cloud, all the stuff that's put on Google Drive, everything via Mata. Gmail. How many of us are going to give up Gmail to maybe go to Hotmail or AOL or Outlook or any of that? We're never leaving any of that. They own goddamn on the Android. They have a AI platform right now which is better than everyone else. Maybe they don't have those many users, but they could subsidize prices and get people on there. Right? This is just remember this. They're a $2 trillion company. They're going to think, or maybe a $2.7 trillion company. They're going to think a lot better than most of us can imagine. They're also going to be thinking a lot longer than most of us can imagine. All you got to know and figure out is Do you believe that the search dominance for Google is going to completely evaporate just because everyone's going to come on ChatGPT and ask questions? And maybe that's the case. I'm not saying that's not the case. I don't fucking know. But I'm not ready to put my money on the line thinking that that is the only alternative. Where Google dies and OpenAI thrives, all of us are going to start watching videos on OpenAI's next YouTube, or someone's going to create the next YouTube. Someone's going to create the next Waymo, right? Someone's going to create the next Gmail, and they're all out there to kill Google. It's like the story of Meta. Logically think about it. 2 years back, I was buying Meta when it was at about 89 or $100 a share, right? I'm not able to figure out this concept saying, how is it possible that everyone's screaming, oh my God, the metaverse, and he's creating glasses, he's spending money on these stupid things roaming around in, I don't know what the metaverse and all of that was. Because I think he was trying to create the next Roblox and try getting that. But anyways, I was like, dude, everyone's shitting on him is doing it on Instagram, is doing it on WhatsApp, still is on Facebook. They got 3 billion people using it. They've not yet began monetizing WhatsApp. They have that much amount of users out there. There's so much money out there. How is it possible that this whole company is just worth a few hundred billion US dollars? And we got proven right. $100 stock went all the way to 600, right? $300 was down to 89, 89 went all the way up to 600 now. So you could call him a lizard, you could call him whatever you want, right? But if these guys don't take large risks, if they don't put tens of billions of dollars into trying to make the next product, how is it that how is it that we're going to get innovation? ChatGPT wasn't an innovation that all of us just suddenly came up and we're like, we all just suddenly saw it and it just took off, right? But I'm pretty sure it took tens of billions of dollars that they had to put behind the rhyme, hoping that one day they're able to do something out of it. So that's my story when it comes to Google as well. That it's not something, and Google has a lot of money. It's not something that they're going to take lying down. Really, not something that they're going to take lying down. I mean, unbelievable company, and I'm not betting on the fact that they're going bust, right? This is not something that I'm saying. Let me see what Sherik's saying. Be interesting to see how Google can enhance their algorithm with their AI. If they're able to make it work, it'll be bigger than that's what I'm saying. It could be, right, Sherik? I mean, I'm not really sure whether that does happen or it doesn't happen, but it could be. It's something that I would keep in mind that even if there's a glimmer of hope saying, oh, Google may be getting its market share back or gaining market share, you know what's going to happen to the stock? It's going to skyrocket. It's just going to go up. And everyone's just going to be like, a few years later, they're going to be like, oh, it looked like a buy back then. It was always, how could you not? It's Google and all of that. Same old bullshit story that happens in markets, right? Just be a bit smarter. Think about the longer perspective. If you do believe that AI is going to disrupt Google, don't invest. You don't need to go to that party. You don't need to go to Google's party, right? Go to some other party. Find some other stock. Buy something else. Yeah, you don't need to go in and try thinking. Maybe buy Microsoft because you think OpenAI is going to take over the world. Fair enough, buy it. I do believe that OpenAI will get a very large share, but I don't believe Google's that. That's my standpoint, right? NR says amazing analysis. Thank you so much. Anyways, any more questions? Keep throwing it in. I'm just going to get back to some of the news that's currently going on. What I'm also planning to do is, so I'm going to try doing these lives at the same time so that most of you guys can join in as well. Maybe like an hour and a half before when we began, so same timing. Usually every day, maybe not over the weekends. Let's see. Maybe over the weekends at some other time. But what I'm also going to start doing is going live if we have something like, like a Fed meeting, or we have something that's a little bit more important, or something that really happens which could affect markets. That's going to be better. Yeah, Sherik says true, big if, but you can't write Google off for now, and that will send the stock to the moon. Exactly, right? Okay. We got a cult of Google right here. No. Adenbach says it's a question if you want to answer. If not, I understand it's deviating. Do you believe capitalism is the right way ahead for society and world? Uh, it's the best of the worst. I don't want to go too much into it. Without capitalism, we wouldn't be having what we're having right now. The call that we're having, talking about things, thinking about how to make life better. There are downsides of capitalism as well, but you can't get everything in this world. So we have what we have, we live with what we have, and we make the best out of what we have, right? So today's day and age is capitalism. So we live by what we have. What do we want at the end of the day? To make our lives better, to make our families' lives better, and maybe hopefully if we have more than we need to give away a few bucks so that we can make other people's lives better. That's all we have, right? So why worry so much about it? Yeah, it's cool. It's game. These are the cards we're dealt. We'll play the game with the cards we're dealt. I mean, that's my way of thinking. I'm not saying it's the right way of thinking. It's just my way of thinking. Trump aide Witkoff to travel to Rome on Friday for Iran talks. Great. Okay, cool. Hope that goes well. OpenAI, NVIDIA, Oracle, SoftBank, and Cisco team up on Stargate UAE. Okay. Exactly, bro. Your answers are making me believe you used to be my friend. I'm still your friend, bro. And I'll always be your friend. Uh, team up on Stargate UAE. Okay, great. 1 gigawatt AI compute cluster is coming. Uh, too cool. Great stuff. So everyone's buying chips. We're all going to be spending all our time on AI, right? Anyways, did you guys watch any new shows or anything that you guys liked? Just drop it in. I got the weekend, so I want to see something that I've not seen. We're trying to watch this movie called Warfare. Apparently, it's pretty. I mean, I saw like 30, 35 minutes out of it, and it was pretty, I wouldn't say gory, but like, it was like just so much of action going on all the time. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to continue watching that. If you guys saw any movie or any show that you like, drop it in, please, because I want to sit down and watch some of it. Uh, OpenAI's first device, watch Succession. Yeah, buddy, that's done already. Warfare is not that good. Okay, so then 30 minutes is what I spent. So that's cool. I did like the Netflix show on Osama. That was pretty cool. I like the way that it was done for like 3 episodes. Nailed the guy. Story's over. Moved on. Severance, definitely watch Severance. Yeah, I've been trying to think. There's another one that one of my friends was telling me was, I don't know, it was John Hamm about neighbors and something. I'm not really sure about it. Some ex hedge fund manager, something happened to him, whatever the hell had happened. Anyways, we'll figure that out. Cool. So just drop it in. I don't want to spend too much time just talking about chats, but something that I'll go back on and then have a look. OpenAI's first device, designed by John Ivey, is a screenless, okay, neck-worn AI gadget focused on environmental awareness. Kind of like a minimalist iPod shuffle with cameras and mics. Production might start in 2027, likely in Vietnam. Okay, I have zero fucking clue what that. I don't even know what those words mean. Screenless, neck-worn AI gadget focused on environmental awareness. Yeah, we'll see it in 2027. Fuck it. It's not a today problem. Okay. Anyways, Nike's back on Amazon. That's one good news, right? With Nike. 6 years after cutting ties, Nike will start selling directly on Amazon again. A big move as it looks to revive slowing sales. Amazon confirmed the deal today. Meanwhile, Nike's raising prices this week, $5 to $10 hikes on sneakers as per CNBC. So buy your goddamn sneakers before the hikes come in, guys. Because America is going to be making sneakers, remember. So everything's going to have a price hike. Art of a deal. Mexican president, we had a call this morning with Trump. Okay, cool. Who asked? But okay, cool. Luxury brands, bro, are they also something people should look up to for investment context? Yeah, maybe Louis Vuitton, maybe Hermes. In a deteriorating macro outlook, maybe it might not be that great. But yeah. Oh, yeah, they are listed. I mean, little LVMH, and I think Hermes is RMS. So I've been looking at them as well. So you're already thinking on the right path, mate. Good job. Home prices. Yeah, that's something that I did see. Cooling off as inventories rise in April. Existing homes available for sale rose 20.8%. Existing home prices up just 1.8%, the weakest since mid 2022. More inventory in the resale market means that home builders are no longer the only game in pools. I think the real estate market's just out of whack. So I'm not really sure how many people are even going to be sitting down and buying homes with these interest rates. So they need the interest rates to come lower. And you know what happens when interest rates come lower? People buy stocks. Just putting it out there. Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, yeah, name it, bro. It's all there. You can just type those same names, type the word stock after it, you'll find the ticker. Louis Vuitton is LVMH, Gucci is Kering, Kering, and Hermes is RMS. So yeah, I'm not really sure about Versace. It's a little too gaudy for me, so I've never went and gone into it. I wouldn't buy those stocks any which ways. Maybe Hermes is the only one that I would ever think of, or Louis Vuitton. Uh, yeah, let's go. Uh, South Korea's Fair Trade Commission is now investigating Coupang's WoW membership for possible abuse of market dominance. I think I heard this shit last year as well. Let me actually see what's happening with Coupang. Coupang is down. What happens to it? Oh, it didn't move. Did it move like post market? Yeah, it's like pretty 27. Yeah, okay, cool. Uh, cool, cool. Uh, let's see what else is happening in this world. Rising treasury yields will make buying homes more difficult. How long do you think yields will stay this high? You know what? In all honesty, I'm not really sure, so I don't want to go ahead and answer this. But the yields are exactly where they were. I think I was answering Sharik about this. Yields are exactly where they were 4 months back. They've not yet gone. Whereas if you adjusted against all other international bonds and international bond yields, all international bond yields are up way higher. So America is not really in that bad a spot. Is it going to? It's the talk of town today. I don't believe it's going to be the talk of town 3 weeks to a month from now. We're going to have either bigger issues or this is going to be a non-issue. If this is a bigger issue, you're seeing a 5 handle on the 10-year treasury yield. If that's happening, you're going to possibly see 5,500 and lower on the S&P 500 being retouched because it is just going to be uncertainty, right? I don't really think it's going to be that much of an issue. That's just my viewpoint because my basis is this. If the administration is going to spend time thinking how to get the 10-year bond yield lower, they're going to think of they're going to work towards that. If they're going to work towards that, they're worrying about it, and everybody else in the market's worrying about it. You and I should be the last ones worrying about it. All right. Because everybody else is. Let them goddamn worry about it. We got to sleep well at night. That's the important part. US April existing home sales fall 0.5%. Cool. OpenAI to partner with UAE's G42. Okay. To build AI data center. Nice. German's finance minister. If there is no agreement on tariffs, then we can expect turbulence on the markets again very quickly. Two stating facts that we already knew. That's like saying if I don't eat, I'll be hungry. Okay. All of us knew that. Kraken's bringing tokenized US stocks. Okay. That shit is not important. S&P Global PMI flash. Yeah, this is kind of important, right? Think about it. Global PMI flash. Composite PMI was 52.1, forecast of 50.3. There you go. Manufacturing PMI forecast at 49.9, came in at 52.3. Services PMI was 51, came in at 52.3. Slowdown? Really? America? No, not happening. Not today. Not today, guys. Uh, German finance minister. Oh, he's back. On my conversations, I have seen an interest to reach a solution on tariffs. Dude, sometimes I think I don't even know why these guys even say anything. Who doesn't want a solution on tariffs? Anyways, yesterday was the third worst stock market reaction to a bond auction in history. Okay. Was it the third worst reaction on the equity markets? No. Cool. You know what? The more I see these kind of news, I just Don't go in and worry too much. Yeah. But I actually do like the story on Nike. I mean, that's something that I'm gonna sit down and do a lot more research on because maybe there's a good buying opportunity there. Right? That would be pretty fascinating to figure out what exactly happened with Nike and how that grows. The one big beautiful bill has passed the House of Representatives. Great. Everyone was worried about it a few days back. Would it pass the House? When it goes to the Senate, would it pass there? What's going to happen? Everything shit passes, man. Relax. Everything's cool. Would love to learn more about Nike too. Yeah, let's do this. Maybe over the weekend, let's get on a live. That's why I asked everyone just subscribe and keep because we can do it on a live, or maybe I can make a video or so. I could rather do it on a live, maybe than make it public. Everyone can understand that as well. So that's my story when it comes to Nike. Right? I'm not saying that would be a turnaround, but I don't think it's dead. Right? It's no Google for sure, but it's not dead for sure. Right? Everyone's not going to go out and start wearing On Running and New Balance and all that. Right? We all love our Lucas of the world and Jordans of the world and all of that. We're still going to buy that stuff. They just got to figure out a way to market it better, put it in front of our faces more. And I think that the Amazon deal is going to do something great for them. The fact that they're raising prices, the fact that they're pretty much taking care of those kind of few things is also helping. Right? NR says Relaxo is better than Nike. Yeah, as a stock for sure. I will agree with you on that. I'm not sure about the comfort, but yeah, better for sure. Our firm is expanding exclusive partnership with Kayak in Canada. Cool. That seems good. Yeah, this is one thing that happened today. The initial unemployment claims were low last week, but continuing claims continue to run a touch above what's been typical. That basically means that people are not applying for unemployment insurance. If people are not applying for unemployment insurance, means there's no job losses. If there's no job losses, there's no slowdown. So I don't know what people are smoking, but I'm not smoking the same thing. So ooh. The US government will stop putting new pennies into circulation. But yeah, I guess that's important news. We're not going to be seeing pennies anymore. We're going to see dollar bills. Cool. Mm, US jobless claims down 2,000. I mean, I know this is a little fluctuating in terms of unemployment claims, but not really sure it's that much of an issue. I think we can sleep over it. Okay. So I think it's pretty much okay. Send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. Wrong. I don't think there was supposed to be a tweet. I think he was supposed to call someone and say that. But what about hospitality or hotel stocks is what Sherik's asking. I think when you look at hotel, I think other than the Marriott, I wouldn't go in and buy anything. I think maybe even when it comes to hospitality, maybe the Win resorts, they're opening up one in the Middle East. I think there's going to be a large play of people wanting to go to the casino in UAE, which is going to be in, I don't even know what place it's called, but it's I think Ras Al Khaimah in Al Marjan or something that way. And then that's going to get people to also come into Abu Dhabi's Disneyland, which is eventually going to be there in another few years. And that's an indoor theme park. So, there's going to be a lot more stuff going on in the Middle East. So maybe Win, because I think they would pretty much be having a monopoly for a period of time or a non-compete. So other people can't come in and they're going to make money. And they're spending 5 billion US dollars. That's not small stuff. So that's going to be pretty cool. The electric cars question. Dude, in all honesty, you know what? I have to admit, I think the Chinese won that, right? I think the sexiest car out there was Tesla till I sat in a BYD, right? And I think they take the cake now. So BYD as a stock's done pretty well as well, right? I think BYD may just be the winner in the electric cars. Are we all going to shift to electric cars? Maybe, maybe it's a thing. Uh, has it made money for companies? I think other than BYD, yeah, not really. Tesla, yes, obviously. So Tesla and BYD, right? I mean, they could be like the Microsoft and Apples of the or the Googles and Apples of the phone world, but that's about it. Let me see. What's the next one? Marriott versus Airbnb. If Airbnb is able to crack onto the new situation where they're thinking of not just rentals, but also or like overnight stays, also providing a more personalized experience, I think that could kill it. That could be something that's absolutely mind-boggling, and that could make the stock go up. But I'm not sure if that can happen. So I don't know purely if I would bet on Airbnb that way. The only reason I like the Marriott's is because it's got this thing of it's got a mental, mm, it's got this. How do I say it? It's like this muscle memory type of situation. When you look at a Marriott, you know you're going to get a certain amount of generalized service, you're going to get a certain amount of quality, you're going to get a certain amount of cleanliness. A lot of these credit card companies have tie-ups and all of that, so all those kind of things work out pretty well. So maybe Marriott, in all honesty. Tesla can make it back if they're able to capitalize on robo taxis in June, July. True, true, and that could be the the wrench pretty much for Uber as well, because Uber's been climbing on the fact that Tesla can't do what they're saying they can do. My bet is eventually you would need a demand aggregator as well to get that in. So maybe Uber survives as well. Will EVs gonna kill gasoline, automobile? What about Middle East then? Not gonna happen overnight. I mean, you still need a lot of gasoline to power up all the electricity, power up air conditioning, power up I don't know how many other things you need. You need gasoline. It's not going out the window. Uh, Oil and gas, yeah, that's all going to stay, man. None of that's going with electric. Maybe your vehicles might turn, but it's not happening overnight. It's not happened till today in the speed that people imagined it to. It's not going to happen by 2030 as well. People still like that Ferraris to make noise. So remember that. What's the next one? Have you heard about Robi Aviation? No, I haven't, but isn't it the one which also, I think this is the one that also has like driverless and takes you from point A to point B? It's something about that. Let me just check. But I haven't. Like, I mean, I'm not really big on trying to find the next company that's going to like change the world. Aviation company, electric vehicle takeoff and landing aircraft that intends to operate as an air taxi service. Yeah, pretty cool though. I mean, I'm not going to take that away from them. What's up with the stock though? So they got listed in 2020 at $10. They're today at $6.64. Yeah, cool. I mean, there's no money in it, but maybe someday. It's a $5 billion business. 2,000 employees based in Santa Cruz, California. Cool. I mean, see, it's at the end of the day, it's these kind of companies that innovate that someday we'll be sitting in, and then it'll be too late to buy that stock. But I think it makes more sense to buy such kind of companies when they have some form of a product that you think can continue to do well. That would be fun. Let's maybe go on for like another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then call it a day. Speaking of oil, OPEC's meeting again to increase the supply of oil. Why and what's its implications on US inflation? Obviously, the inflation levels will go lower because oil is going to head lower. But here's the other thing, right? Eventually, a lot of these rigs are going to go maybe not out of production, but they're going to halt their production because if the price starts getting lower than their average cost of selling or average cost of production, there's no reason for them to continue, right? So you never know. That could be an effect. It's the Saudis trying to teach the other countries a lesson. Don't know how much of that happens. Yes, the reverse. What happens when this production increase becomes a production decrease or normalizes back to its previous levels? What happens to oil then? If it spikes then, that we might see an increase in inflation then. And if we do see an increase in inflation, then how does the market react to that? That's something that I would be more interested in rather than figuring out what's happening with the OPEC uh, meeting to increase output. Because I'll tell you one thing: every time the OPEC meets to increase output, the first time it does it, there's going to be an effect lower on prices. The second time they do it, there's going to be an effect on prices, but a smaller effect. The third time, fourth time, yeah, part of the game because you're not your first decrease will be more than your second decrease. Your second decrease will be more than your will be less than your third decrease. So they're not going to say, oh, 10 barrels in the first 10 million barrels in the first one, but they're not going to go like, oh, 50 million barrels in the second. So I think it's going to become a non-event eventually. It's not something that market's going to care too much about eventually. It'll have maybe some momentary flips up and down, and then that's about it. Again, not something to really go crazy about. But yeah, this one's been a fun live session. Maybe we go in for like 5-10 minutes more. I just want to see if there's any more news. If not, we'll call it quits. You guys can go do whatever the hell you guys were doing, and I'll continue doing what I was doing. All eyes are on Austin for what? Ahead of Tesla's upcoming robotaxi launch. Okay, cool. Maybe Austin's the place. Austin Phoenix. It's gonna rise from the ashes to figure out what the hell's happening with robotaxi. Yeah, so there's some Golden Dome project that's going on as well. Great. It's all we need at this moment is the Golden Dome. Defensive system in the United States intended to counter the threat of ballistic, hypersonic, and cruise missiles forced to the mainland. I have zero idea who's going to be sending ballistic missiles across the Atlantic and Pacific. I guess. I guess that system's going to help. So cool, if it is. I'm all for it. I'm all for production of all kinds of everything. Go for it. Okay. So for any of you smart Alex that have not yet subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. So when I do come live, I can then you'll get a notification. So switch that bell icon. I think it's still a bell. Click on it. So when I come live next, I think you get like an update 30 minutes before I come live. So you can get that as well. Let's go to the next one. What's he saying? What's I about saying? What about fertilizers and companies related to agriculture ever into that? Nah, man. I'm a little too much of a capitalist to get into that kind of stuff. So I'm just screwing around. But yeah, what about fertilizers and companies? Nah, man. I have zero clue on that. I am a little too dumb when it comes to that. I stick to my areas of competence and I don't go outside. That's my circle. I don't get outside. I'm mostly a tech guy. So I like staying around the tech areas. Some companies here and there that are not tech, that's cool by me as well, but not everything. So that's not my area of competence. I just stay away. Let me just see what's happening with a few of the high beta stocks. So that was good. That was good as well. But pretty much some of them have got a bullish engulfing. They've taken out yesterday's prices. Now, how much of that does actually happen? Who knows? But cool. This is one company that's fascinating. It's a digital ad tech company called the Trade Desk. It's at $74. But there's another company called Mountain, MNTN, as a ticker. I think Ryan Reynolds is invested in that company and they're going to be coming out with an IPO maybe this week or next. No clue. But you know what? It's going to be fun because the more you see, oh, yeah, oh, Jesus, it jumps on IPO day. So it's already IPO. Cool. Up 26% and more than 60% from their $16 per share IPO price. Great. So Mark Douglas is cool. That IPO price is the high end of the expected range. So cool. It'll be fun to see what exactly happens with Mountain versus company reported more than $225 million in sales from more than 2,200 customers, net loss of about 33 million. So, the IPO is MNTN, Mountain, MNTN. It's a guy called Mark Douglas. I used to follow him to get insights into the digital ad tech story when Netflix was doing its ad tier business. And he has been pretty bullish about Netflix, and he has been, let me give it to him, credit where it's due, because he has been pretty bang on when it comes to his analysis of Netflix and their ad tier and how it's been taking off. So this is a company that I'm most likely going to look into as well because no reason why I shouldn't. Doesn't seem like a pretty $26.36. They were trading at what, $16 as an IPO price. So that's MNTN, shut up. MNTN Mountain. NFTs era is over. Yeah, I guess so, man. I mean, there's only so much that people would want monkeys on a thumb drive or any of that. I'm not really sure. Maybe a few of them. Maybe those crypto punks and bored apes and penguins and all of that stay, but not really sure about the rest. Mm. Anyways, guys, so let's call it quits here. Join in for the next session. Let me see if I'm free in a, like after a few, maybe after like 6 7 hours. Maybe I'll try coming in live again. You guys have something, drop in. I might put out the link so you guys can then just uh, put your notification on, subscribe, and just join the waiting area, and then we can go on and maybe do it for like 45 minutes or something. Good economy for launderers. I'm not sure, bro. I have zero opinions on that, but I don't know what's a good economy for them. No clue. Good session. Look forward to seeing you live again. Take care, brothers. See ya. Enjoy your day. Have fun. Let's connect maybe 6 hours later or tomorrow, whatever. We'll figure. Anyways, take care, guys. See ya. Thanks.